Overwatch 2 has been officially announced at this year's BlizzCon, and the reaction has been a little mixed. So today I want to address the question and pose it to you guys as well. Is Overwatch 2 pointless? Here's the raw info. Overwatch 2 is going to add a story mode filled with missions that actually progress that story, the lore, at long last. Like, you know, those special event missions, but a bit more refined. There's also going to be special hero missions, which are replayable and multiplayer, and in these levels, you're going to level up your chosen character of choice, progressing through a talent tree system and customizing the very abilities of that character, which visually looks cool and might be mechanically really fun. Apparently, this is comparable to the adventure mode found in Diablo. And both of these modes are against AI and wouldn't affect in any way the main reason that we play Overwatch, you know, the PvP. But the thing is, that's all you're getting for buying Overwatch 2, which isn't a lot, is it? And let's be honest, the gameplay of these modes are going to be alright. I'd like to play through the story once to experience it, but that's not really worth a full-priced game. With Overwatch 2, we're going to get many new maps, visual updates to the characters since time has passed lore-wise, a bunch of new playable characters at launch, a new competitive game mode that will be a main mode of play in Overwatch League, aka, you know, the pro scene. It's called Push, and you escort a robot doing what you might expect, pushing the objective, but since there's only one robot that you've got to fight over, it's both attack and defense all the time for both teams, which I quite like. Plus, all the new cosmetics you'd expect from an expansion like this. But the key element and kind of point of this video, though, is that Jeff himself explained that 100% of the skins or progress you've made in Overwatch 1 is going to fully transfer to Overwatch 2. But on top of that, you don't actually have to own Overwatch 2 to play the new characters, the maps, or that new PvP mode. You could play that new mode on a new map, on a new character introduced in Overwatch 2 via Overwatch 1, because the two games are doing a sort of cross-play sequel setup. So, as a player of actual Overwatch, you know, someone who likes to play it casually with friends or competitively at the highest level that they can achieve, there's no real reason to buy Overwatch 2 unless you want to experience those story missions or those hero missions. Yeah, you'll miss out on some slight visual improvements because, you know, you're not playing the updated game, but mechanically, there's nothing you're not going to have access to. There's kind of two major takes here, right? Obviously, the first one is that Overwatch 2 is pointless, or hey, the other take, Blizzard have actually done something really cool for their long-term players. A lot of people kind of just think this is stupid, but my question is, what's the alternative for Overwatch? It clearly needed some sort of big expansion to update the game, so they created this cross-play sequel. But I have to wonder, why not just make it an expansion? That's what a lot of people are saying. It clearly needed some sort of expansion. Why not literally make an expansion? You could easily add these special story or hero missions to Overwatch 1, a burst of new characters in one go, new maps and so on, all at once. I mean, look at Monster Hunter World and Iceborne. I don't think any of us would have been happy to hear that they're releasing a fully priced game called Monster Hunter World 2 instead of just an expansion called Iceborne, because though it's awesome, it's not really enough for its own game. So why did they choose to drop a sequel and not an expansion? Well, because you can charge more for a new game compared to a DLC. That's the only answer I can work out or understand, the only way this makes sense to me. From the player perspective, it's just confusing, but if I'm there, you know, just for the PvP and I don't really care about the story, I guess it's completely fine and no issue for me. I don't need to spend any money to experience that new stuff. But as someone who loves the lore and has been waiting for them to finally progress that story, you know, the one that the game started with, where they're reuniting Overwatch to face the threats of the world, but, you know, we're only just now starting to do that years in. And as someone who cares about that, this feels really weird. It's like they're squeezing me for that little bit more money because, well, they can. It's a business after all, and if they can get away with that, they will. My concerns here are only really valid if Overwatch 2 is a fully priced game on release, but do you think it won't be? I mean, seriously? There's some obvious pros to this. I can just play Overwatch 1 and experience every new PvP update and enjoy the game for what it is, a continually updating PvP shooter. And when Overwatch 2 comes out, I'll just get a bunch of these free updates all at once. And maybe the best part of this is that it's not going to split the player base at all. No one's really getting left behind. So these are really good things. And the cons themselves aren't even that numerous. You know, there's but a couple. There's a major concern here, though. Obviously, it looks like an overpriced story mode plus hero missions, right? But what about the potential of abandonment or fall off of Overwatch 1? How long can these two games run side by side without abandoning the first? It makes sense to move forward from the previous title in most games, but with Overwatch 2 having so little to offer, that's going to be really hard for them to pull off. So, if instead they slowly abandon one after supporting it originally how they say they were going to do it now, well, that would work a lot better for them, wouldn't it? They get the good PR of what they're doing right now, and then quietly, let's say 6 months from now maybe, they slowly drop maybe an exclusive update for Overwatch 2. Let's say they release a new hero for Overwatch 2 first, and then, yeah, Overwatch 1 players get it, but, you know, they have to wait a week or 2 weeks, you know, and they slowly turn that up, and then maybe eventually abandon the game entirely, you know, years down the line. This is just total BS speculation, but honestly, I'm just trying to understand what is in it for them as a company, as a business. Why not just do an expansion? Maybe this is just an easy way for them to hype up the game again, because it's technically, oh, a 2 is a lot more interesting than an expansion. The bottom line is, this is really good for a lover of Overwatch PvP for now, but for someone who loves the lore and is ready for them to finally progress that story, it's potentially an expensive slap in the face. Whoever I've asked about this, they just think it's weird and confusing. Like, there's very little reason for them to create a sequel from what they've shown. And during this section here, you'll be seeing some gameplay of Overwatch 2 from XQC, who's at BlizzCon right now, on the new map Toronto, in the new game mode. And, I mean, it looks like the exact same game, right? This is just Overwatch 1, because ultimately that's what it is. You're going to be paying for 2 new PvE modes, but the thing is, you don't have to pay for them, so it's alright. Right? I'm obviously confused by this, but what do you think? Should we just be happy that we're getting a pile of free updates, or pissed off that we have to shovel out money for just a couple new modes if we actually want to play them? Overreacting to a good thing is not what I want this video to be, but more of a discussion about this very strange choice, since I think we'd all be really angry right now if Overwatch 1 was just abandoned, and we had to buy Overwatch 2 with its very lackluster updates and changes, and just leaving Overwatch 1 behind. No one would have swallowed that, certainly not with the current public opinion of Blizz. For now though, I've been Hollow, and thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think about this, and I will see you guys next time.